Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do another manga video review, overview, however you want to perceive it, by demand. So you ask and you shall receive. This is by Yokinobu Tatsu, and this is Dandadan issue, volume 1, but I have volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5. I have, I believe, till 10. And I'm waiting for the rest to come in, and to be honest, it's fantastic. This is by Viz Media, Shonen Jump, and yeah, it's about 200 pages. I mean, around 200 pages, right? So yeah, I was a little bit confused because I thought I had bought a manga about a boy that believed in aliens, but there was another one. I'm not sure what it was anymore. But then I end up with this one, and I was totally surprised. This is one of the most fun action comedies that I've ever read for the last couple of years. This is a highly recommend for me. Instant. Well, it's not a classic, but it's really good. So without further ado, let's tackle the story a little bit here. So it's about a girl called Momo. She had a breakup with a boyfriend, right? And she has some girlfriends that try to comfort her, but she is, she wants to have a new boyfriend, like a favorite, Ken Takakura. Now, who is Ken Takakura? I don't know. I believe she could be a movie star or something like that, but she wants something like him. But then when she's walking through class, she sees that this boy called Ken, it's not Ken, is being bullied, and she, decides to step in, right? And then the boys leave Ken alone, and she's just walking out, right? But she doesn't know Ken. But then he awkwardly goes after her, and he says something like, "For a person like you, Miss Ayase, to come talk like a fellow like me, there can be only one explanation." And she says, "Well, you got the wrong idea." And then I don't know. He's just keep talking about the paranormal, and then he believes that she is also believing in UFOs, right? And she says, I don't care about that. I just had a bad breakup. Why don't you leave me alone? And then she regrets that and gives him back his magazine. And then she says that she believes in spirits. But then he says, haha, no way. There's no such things as spirits. Now, they have been going into some kind of a heated argument here, right? For whatever reasons. And the humor is really spot on. There's also an anime out that I'm also watching just to check out if it's how faithful it is to the manga, and it's pretty faithful, I must say. So they are basically daring each other to go to places to prove that aliens or spirits exist. So she's going to this abandoned building where there's UFO sightings, and he is going to some kind of a tunnel where supposedly is an evil spirit there, right? But she says that she's believing in ghosts, and there's a little bit backstory here that she's been grown up by with her grandmother, and her grandmother is she needed to perform some kind of a ritual, right? So it's for good luck and for safety, but she's being bullied by boys, right? And she hated her grandmother for that, and yeah, but she really likes. It's not that she is really hating the ritual, but more like that the boy that she liked made fun of her grandma. She couldn't stand that because she's really loving her grandma, and therefore, because she's a spirit medium, she believes in spirits, right? And then Ken here is meeting Turbo Granny, and he's running away, right? But then Momo says, "No, don't do that, because if you lose a race against Turbo Granny, she put a curse on you." But then she is seeing these guys in this abandoned building, and yeah, this is happening. She's being abducted by aliens. So yeah, there's aliens and spirits or ghosts or curses in this book. And it really works somehow. These guys says, hey, we are the wait a minute, what's their name? Oh yeah, Symposians, and they are clones from each other, and they cannot reproduce. Therefore, they want to have intercourse with the girl to unlock that secret, so that they can grow and evolve and all that stuff, right? Um, and they are using some kind of a psychokinetic power to suppress her. But then this is happening through her telephone is beeping, and then Turbo Granny comes through the telephone and attacking the Symposians. And it's Ken. Ken is being now cursed by Turbo Granny, and he is accidentally here to save her or something. How he come through the telephone, I don't know. Don't ask me that questions. But then the Symposians reveals their true nature, right? And they are using, like I said, their psychokinesis to battle or attack Turbo Granny. But he is, in this case, he's too weak, and he's getting bumped into the wall over and over again. But then she remembers what Granny, I'm talking about Momo, what Granny teaches her about, how she needs to awaken her chi, right? By focus on your energy below your belly, visual your chi beaming out of the crown of your head. And like I said, at some point she really hated her because she called us a phony spirit medium. But then she is doing it anyway, unlocking her potential. And she's becoming also powerful. Now, you can say that is some kind of a trope here that, very young guys getting enormous powers. But that's not really the case here. They having powers, they are strong, but they are not invincible. They don't have God-level powers. And they barely can hold their own. But what I like about this book is the very kinetic, fast-paced action and all these different kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Jesus, I had a tip of my tongue. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm coming up a little bit later, but it looks really good, and it really pulls you in. Now we have Turbo Granny here. She's cursing this boy, right? And the only thing that she can lift that curse if they are coming towards the tunnel and try to defeat her, right? Because he's really angry about what happened. And she took his schlong. So he has no junk anymore, right? And the UFO is crashing down and they are safe now, but she's using her power to suppress the curse. And they slowly becoming friends here. Although Ken here is, this very quiet, antisocial guy, doesn't know how to move in this world, but really believes in UFOs, and there's a reason for that. And he says, I am Ken Takakura. Wait a minute. Ken Takakura. So she says, no, that's not the case. You cannot be Ken Takakura, right? Because he has a crush on that supposedly actor. And she says, I refuse to accept that. Well, it's my name, he says, right? And then because he's now refusing to accept that, she's losing his hold. Then the curse coming back, and she's calling, well, your name will be now on... wait a minute. What's his name? Okarun. So she's refusing to call him by his original name. And then they are saying, hey, come to my house, to my grandmother. She's a medium, right? She's a spirit medium. Surely she can cure you, right? And then this is the house, but there is some kind of a gateway. Well, it's not really a gateway. There's a word for that. I forgot, a Japanese word. Anyway, so he goes through, but then he catches fire, and she's using her... I'm not sure if it's telekinesis or telekinesis or something like that, but it's going to be explained later what it actually is. And it seems that this she had or her grandmother had a warden on this a barrier on this gate here, and she just ripped it off and said, "Hey, you can come here and you can change, and then we wait for Granny here, right?" But then something happens. Also, he explains why he is wanted to have a friend that he can feel comfortable with. The reason that he is believing in UFOs because he wants to be taken away by aliens, because he thinks that the aliens will befriend him because he has no friends. And and she is just a cute girl, with friends, not really ugly or something, not popular, but the in between. And but then the doorbell rings, and she says, "My granny has another doorbell for evil spirits." And then when they go outside, there is some kind of a concrete barrier around the house, and everything is dark. They are walled in, and they're starting to bleed because some kind of a mist comes in, right? And so yeah, whatever this is try to kill them. And like I said, the humor is very good. And Okarun says, "That's a space alien, right?" And he knows how to tackle them. So he asked her to suppress the curse of the granny, but not his mind. So therefore, try to control himself and then battle this creature. And then this is happening. So he transforms into maybe a hybrid, using the curse of the granny to become really, really fast. There's only a downside I'm not going to spoil here. He can only do that 2 times before burning out. And he's, strong too, because he's ripping this fingers off. But they're not out of the woods yet. So what I like about this also is, except for this cool visuals, the kinetic energy, is that the writer is really smart at tackling how to deal with certain villains. They're not using, like, say, raw power to defeat it, but actually using their minds. For instance, we have Momo here, and she's beating, getting the crap beaten out of her by this alien monster. And she's being rammed into this wall, and she says, "Well, no, you distract him, and I'm going to do what I need to do." But she's been pummeled into this wall further and further. The reason that she is doing that, she says, "I am Tory." Yeah, so this gateway is a Tory. Therefore, then pulling in Okarun, and uses then the barrier to put the protection in place. And then this creature is done for and burning up. It's really smart. But they are not out of the woods yet, right? And because she's been beaten up so fast, she's losing consciousness. But then releasing the pressure of Okarun so that the curse is going rampant again, trying to kill her. Because, Okarun cannot go against the curse. He's being overwhelmed by it. And then we also getting the introduction of Granny. And we see how almost Momo is being eaten. Now, you see some shots in here that you can say, okay, explicit content. Don't worry. There is no, if this is you're having trouble dealing with, which I mean, fan service, there is barely anything in it. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Goblin Slayer, when it was in, I believe, the first book or episode of the anime was some kind of a very explicit sort of scene. It never came back, and it's the same here. This is, I think, just to pull in readers, or I don't know, a little bit of a fan service. But this is probably the most thing that you're gonna see in this book, and after all the other books, it's not gonna return. So there's that. So we're getting introduced to Granny, right? That is now try to tackle Turbo Granny. But she is, again, the writer is very smart. She already had a barrier around her, because Turbo Granny wants to, go into her blind spot, which is her back. But then by doing that, protecting herself, because she knew it, Turbo Granny would be burnt, and then she's being trapped into another circle where she cannot get out of it. So it's now Turbo Granny against, well, Granny. So this is happening. Momo wakes up and she says, "Hey, where is Okarun?" And what Granny is really vague, so suggesting that he's probably dead. Momo is getting really angry, going to this shrine, and he's fine. And he's very happy to see her, right? And she's like, "You're actually alive, you four-eyed freak." So showing that she's really caring for Okarun, right? But the curse is still in place, so he cannot get out of it because he put, I don't know, maybe a mystic barrier around it. But then Turbo Granny she is explaining what Turbo Granny is. So Turbo Granny is the 100 km/h granny. She is an old spirit that lives here in this, tunnel for years, but she's also merging with another entity there, a bound spirit, which looks really cool. So Granny says, you have to go outside of the city, and if you can get her outside of the city, she's losing her powers, and therefore she, can be defeated by those two. But they have to train. They have to, become stronger and stronger. And she's going to help them with that. But it's not that easy, right? So basically also he says, I need to use the John. But she cannot let go of, like I said, she's using her psychic powers or whatever powers to suppress the curse. But she cannot do that. She needs to have him inside. So if he's going to on the toilet, she needs to be there to see it. But then she explains her powers, that she sees some kind of a blue flame around it, and then she can manipulate and control them. But she needs to get stronger. So it seems when she was unlocking her powers, she was basically unlocking her full potential, but then somehow it went into lockdown, and now she needs to be training herself to become stronger and stronger and stronger. Well, try to get rid of the curse of Okarun, right? So Okarun doesn't take it anymore, and they are racing to the John. And like I said, it's so hilarious. So he's doing this business. He's really ashamed. But then, again, we have also some cool visuals like this. Turbo Granny is not really defeated. She says, you go back, you come back to the tunnel. I taking his John. Come there if you want to get rid of the curse, or else. Because they have nosebleeds and etc. And then they're dressing up and then going to this tunnel. And it like I said, and the story continues that they are trying to battle her, but she is really too strong. But then Momo says, hey, you cannot eat us because we're going to challenge you. We're going to be faster than you. And if you're going to catch him, you can kill us. And if not, you need to get let go of the curse. Turbo Granny, of course, accepts the challenge, but she is also cheating because she needed to count down from 10. But then she's using her own way of counting down. Again, the kinetic action is really cool. And we have some bios here. And to show you what's in the next Tonkabon, that's I believe how you say it, is the other familiar. And the familiar is a giant crab. So it seems that deceased people, when they go to the afterlife, they turn into crabs or something. And again, visuals are fantastic. Action scenes is very kinetic. It's the way they draw. The artist and creator is drawing all these great action scenes. It's incredible. It's really, really, really good. And this is just the tip of the iceberg because we still have the aliens around, and it's getting more crazier and crazier with each book. What fun about this is in each book you get another introduction to a new character, and that also, unlocking powers. And there is some positives and negatives about that. Meaning because it's not always young people getting powers and therefore they can do good. Sometimes the power overwhelms them and they try to do harm to people. So, and they have to work around that to get that, to get it right, to suppress their powers, to become stronger, to control their powers. But there's also spirit villains, mean girls in school, and it seems that these two are getting closer and closer as friends. But yeah, right. So I believe they are developed some feelings to each other. It's also saying when balls are gone, so it starts all over again. If there is one criticism that I can say is that there is also some, Turbo Granny returns, by the way, in another form. The downsides, if you can call it downsides, more a little nitpicking for me, is there is some English language bleeding into the story, saying that, for instance, schoolgirls talking about Okarun and they calling him her Momo's bae, like her lover, like BAE, I believe that's how you spell it. It's not really that bad, but there's some occasions here that some English language is being, translated in here, or basically not translated, because I'm not sure. I don't know what the Japanese version of that is. It's not really bad or intrusive. The reason that I bring it up is because there is a lot of controversy of translators injecting their own politics into comic books and also in manga. It's not long ago. There was a whole controversy about that, and Japanese people didn't even know that would happen because they barely understand English themselves. But in here, it's not that really intrusive or weird, or basically it fits the story. So overall, this is a very good-looking, fast action-paced book. If I can show you, and not only that, this is in the schoolroom, and we have also water rising, and we have the Loch Ness monster because Okarun is a big fan of the Loch Ness monster, and then alien. Look at this, man. Oh, wait a minute. I need to get it into focus. Here we go. Aliens are coming back, and then we have this shrimp guy that is a boxer. I'm a boxer myself. I'm boxing for 5 or 6 years now, and this is fun to see. And they have to battle not only the Loch Ness monster, but also the aliens that using their psychokinetic powers to, they are still hunting this girl, right? And then we have this crazy girl that is also having powers later on. And I can go on and on and on and how it all looks, but it looks so good. It looks, look at this action scene here. It's incredible. And like I said, it's getting crazier and crazier with each passing volume. And I cannot wait to get the next one. Look at this. This is fantastic. So highly recommend for me. So guys, if you don't want to, watch the or read the manga, you can, watch the anime too. It's pretty spot on when it comes to translation